All right, we can't get the deposits, but we can still try to get some of the money back.
We should play up the heart attack. Say the surgeon had to go back in because they left a Coke can inside.
Over the top.
Shot glass. Dice. Bow tie?
Is the surgeon a riverboat gambler?
Look, I'll call the vendors. You guys divide the guest list.
Wouldn't it be better if you took the list since all of these people like you better than me?
Exactly. The guests will be so eager to get off the phone with you that it'll all go by more quickly.
Brutal yet fair point. Smarter than I give you credit for. Though I do wonder how Princess Goody Two-Tits can get one single penny from the big, bad, potentially mob-affiliated vendors.
What? Whoa, big sister throwdown.
The same way I beat you out for Commissioner of Youth Activities by using my sweet demeanor and sugar cookies to get elected while you used intimidation and then promised to blow everyone.
Game on.
I didn't do it. Wasn't enough time before voting.
I love that.
You sped up here, by the way. Can you
I
slow
did.
down for a
I was so nervous that I just
ran
full
up
audience
here.
applause.
Well,
I did.
look, she is wearing sneakers.
No, I know. I've got heels
Gives me an
on and a
advantage. I
tummy.
know. I'm sorry. You're correct. I should have waited.
Slow down.
Next time,
sister.
We can do it again. Should we do it again?
No.
Okay. Okay.
See, Brianna would do it again.
I will not. I'm not getting out of this chair.
So you ladies play sisters on Grace and Frankie, which is on Netflix, season 2. It's an amazing show about two women whose husbands leave them for each other. For those of you not watching, you should be watching, all of you.
If you're not watching, you can just get out
Leave.
right now.
Brooklyn will fight you. That's why she's
You
wearing
guys-
this
that's why-
outfit.
You're all here. You're all cool. All right.
Let's talk about your characters first. How have they changed from season 1 to season 2?
Great cue. Hope I have an A. You know, I think that so much of season 1 was about like the direct aftermath of this explosive news. And I don't know that Brianna's changed as much as you just get to see more of, you know, her work life and a little bit more of her love life. So we just kind of get to explore who she is outside of the explosion of her family.
Mallory, I think the first season, and she's still this uptight person, but they made her like this very sort of uptight female, mother of 2. Her life is coming undone because her mother and her father, they've been the example of marriage to her entire life. And I think season 2, you get to see sort of a crazier side to her that's a little bit quirkier. You see her relationship with her sister a little bit more. You see her relationship with her mom a little bit more. And my character's pregnant season 2. So you kind of see a more truthful side of Mallory season 2, which was really fun to play.
And you guys are now shooting season 3, which is amazing that a show about 2 women headlined by nobodies like Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda.
Yeah.
Who?
I mean, really? You know, but seriously, like these women are completely underrepresented in pop culture, and I think it's amazing that Netflix is so supportive of the show. When each of you read the script, I read about your audition when you were 3 weeks postpartum.
Yeah.
But how did each of you react when you got the script? What was it that spoke to you?
I didn't read the script.
Wow.
This is why.
Do you read any of the scripts?
I have not
You
read
know-
a script.
wait.
I only read my
Brooklyn.
scenes.
Do you know how to
That's a
read?
problem.
No, of course I do. No. This is what happened. There's a reason.
I'm just...
There's a reason. I was
I'm going to ask another follow-up.
Wait a
Do you know
second.
how to read?
Someone reads their lines to me and then I recite them. No, what happened was I was in Haiti and there is no internet. And my manager was with me. He does a lot of work down there, so we were down there. And he got a call at this. When you've like one place where you get phone calls. He got a call, and they said, "This is the script. This is the cast. This is the character. Can she be on a flight tomorrow to LA to audition?" And so, just because of the lineup alone, I said yes, of course, to read for this. And I read it on the plane.
You left your charitable work in Haiti?
Yeah.
Wow, that says a lot about you.
I know it does, to go to Hollywood to get a show.
I mean, really, I hope they're
That's
okay,
true.
whoever you were working
To
with.
be fair, it was my second to last day. I was leaving the Monday. I ended up leaving Sunday. But I hadn't read the script, and I jumped on a flight just because of the cast. And on the flight, of course, I read it. And we had the first 3 scripts when we auditioned. Did you have the first 3 when you auditioned?
I did not. I auditioned with a scene from the second episode, but I didn't have the pilot, I don't think.
Yeah. And they were brilliant and funny, and I just loved every character in these crazy families. So again, it was a quick yes to go and read for it, but I didn't read the script initially.
Wow.
With good reason.
So I assume you did read the script.
I did, and I do know how to read. Yes, I did
I have
read the
since
script.
learned. I have
So
since
proud of you.
Thank you.
I did read the script. I guess I read the second. I think I was given the pilot and then read a scene from the second episode, and loved it. But yeah, much like Brooklyn, when you have an audition and these people are already attached. I don't think Martin and Sam were at that point, but Jane and Lily were doing a show together. You'd kind of be insane to not go on that audition. So off I went, pretty much still wearing diapers from the hospital, and yeah, and here I sit. Wow, what a
in
journey.
diapers again.
Oh, I'm wearing diapers for completely different reasons. Yeah, nothing to do with postpartum.
You guys didn't know each other when you were cast, and yet your sisterly vibe on the show seems so authentic. Did you go, how did it happen? Did you go out to dinner? Did you have extensive rehearsal time? How did you connect?
Well, we just connected very easily. Oh God, here she goes again. It's so uncomfortable. She stalked me. No, we met the first day of the table read, I think, and just hit it off right away. I was late to the table read, of course. I'm very unprofessional.
I don't read. June is late. It's a disaster.
Yeah, no, we were, and we just had a grand old time together, and so it was very natural. I do know on certain TV shows where they're like, the cast, you guys should all get together and really, and sometimes it doesn't work. I think that's something that kind of has to happen or it doesn't. And in our case, we just hit it off right away, which was really nice.
And you taught Brooklyn how to read.
And I taught her how to read.
That's so nice.
It was
I read
really,
about that. That's
very
really
kind
sweet.
of me.
It was. Thank you.
What is it like having Jane Fonda play your mom? Does she give you guys career advice? Does she walk around sharing bits of wisdom, scattering it to and fro?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of actually. And I think, not on purpose, but if you just sit near her long enough and, just absorb it through the process of osmosis, you will learn. It's crazy to, first of all, to just share in a pretend world the same gene code as her is pretty high praise, and I took that as a huge compliment. But it's awesome, and she's amazing, and it's funny because there are times, like Brooklyn and I were shooting a scene last week, and we genuinely did not hear action or whatever had happened. Yeah, in film they yell
This
action.
makes it sound like we're very unprofessional. For
Yeah,
the
no,
record,
it does.
we are not. We can read. We are early. We are very professional.
But in this scenario, nobody told us the scene had started.
Right.
And all of a sudden I hear, and we're in the scene with Jane, and Brooklyn and I had to walk in, and I hear, "Where are my daughters?"
And then she goes, "Girls?" And both of us are like, "Oh, mom's mad. Mom's
It was
mad."
very scary.
Our hearts skipped
And
a beat,
we ran like Brooklyn ran up here very quickly.
like little ducks to their mom.
Yeah. So,
She has a presence.
She totally has a presence, and but it's amazing. It's insane and wonderful.
How has your portrayal of Mallory changed from season 1 to season 2 and now with season 3?
Well, Mallory's story is very interesting because when I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but when I was auditioning, I tested with Ethan Embry, who plays Coyote. And the whole point of that was they thought that these two characters were going to have this sort of romantic relationship, this storyline together because they had a past together. And so when I auditioned, that was such a huge part of who Mallory was. Her life was coming so undone from this divorce between her parents that she basically was like, I can't handle my own marriage, and went outside of it and went to what was comfortable, which was this past relationship from a childhood. Well, all that went away. And the reason why, understandably so, is because they really had to focus on Jane and Lily in season 1, and that's a pretty big B storyline. And also, I think it just didn't make sense. We had one family falling apart. It didn't make sense to have two families falling apart in one season. So my world, Mallory's world, completely changed. And what I like about it is that now, instead of having a woman who is confused and therefore going out on her marriage, now you have a woman who's dealing with the pressures of motherhood and the pressures of being a stay-at-home mom or a working mom, and she's an educated woman and she chose to stay at home, and all these things that I think we actually feel in the real world as mothers. That's where kind of her neuroses comes from, which feels very truthful. And so Mallory, for me, has changed a lot just because her motivations have changed entirely. And I like her a lot more now. She feels like a real, tangible character.
And I think Brianna really, I'm not going to even, I'm going to refrain from any puns and just go say it straight. So Brianna goes into business with Lily Tomlin's character, and they produce Yam Lube.
That's correct.
But that's not the funny part. The funny part is the oil issue.
Yeah, well, there's a whole so yes, Frankie has made this organic yam. It's homemade, and my character Brianna kind of offers to buy it. She wants $9 million. I have other ideas, and so what starts out as this, in my character's mind, like wonderful collaboration turns into a complete disaster, and it's sort of, it's sort of like you get to see corporate America and, this debate between like wanting to sell a product and make it last on shelves and the reality of what it takes to bring a product to market, and Frankie's ideology and the sort of how those two things smash up against each other.
And the issue of palm oil, and
yes,
you guys actually do tackle a really relevant environmental issue.
It is. I learned about that. I mean, I've always been up on parabens and being in so many products, but I got to learn about palm oil, which is a serious thing.
Do they sell the lube? Because it's packaged for the show.
It is, but it's not. No, we're not selling it. Or if we are, I should make some money from it.
Because there's advertising. They have like a commercial for it and everything. And I feel like the show should sell this Yam Lube. We're all so curious.
I know, and maybe we could get a cut.
I think so.
Of the money. I love money.
That's a great idea.
I love money so.
Of course.
Well, I mean, Goop has endorsed Yam Lube, so it's a thing.
Goop put the Yam Lube in their
this sex guide. Yeah.
Wait, you guys, if there's money that I'm not receiving, that's a problem.
I think there might be.
Let's call Netflix. Netflix.
Because again, I need money. I love money. You
got
gotta
a
get
second
it.
baby on the way, man. They don't feed themselves.
No, they don't. I've tried, and they don't know how to use their arms yet. They're so dumb.
They are useless little creatures.
No, yeah, but the Yam Lube storyline is just so much fun, and it was a real gift for me to play that with Lily and kind of explore, where this goes with great intentions in the beginning. It just turns out to be a complete and utter disaster going into business with her. And it was so much fun to do.
And you in particular, you've been in comedy a long time.
Yeah, I'm 65 years old.
God, you look really good.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I look great.
No, but you come on now. You've worked with Maria Bamford. You've worked with a lot of great people. But what do each of you think that this show taps into that isn't seen much today?
So many things. I think for the first time you have women in their 70s playing real characters.
And having sex.
It's not a gag.
And having sex.
Like, that's not the joke, Exactly. They're having sex, they're smoking pot, they're dating, they're finding new businesses for themselves and figuring out what the second phase of their life looks like. And I think we haven't seen that before. And also we have a portrayal of two families that are broken and weird and wonderful, and I think that's really interesting. But I think more than anything, Jane and Lily, that's probably the most unique part of the show. That's something we haven't seen before and seen done well before.
Yeah, I think, like Brooklyn said, they're not a punchline, and they are fully realized, beautiful characters, and I think so many women in general feel aging is a just terrifying concept. As a 65-year-old, I certainly can relate. But
You said you're 64.
Yeah, I am 64. I am. No, but I do think they're totally embracing it, and I think definitely in our culture, we're expected to kind of just like run off into the wilderness after a certain age and never be heard from again. So to see these women who are not only aging so beautifully, but with so much strength and getting better with age, I think that used to be an idea that was only, relevant for men. It's like, oh, they can go gray and it's sexy, but when we do, it's like gross. So I have a full head of gray under here. But yeah, no, I think it's really, I'm inspired by it. To be quite honest, this idea that there's plenty more life to live after a certain age filled with, all sorts of fun. I think it's actually, I think it's a pretty progressive idea.
And before we go to the audience questions, I wanted to ask each of you, what storyline thus far has resonated the most with each of you?
I thought a really interesting one, and there's no reason why this should personally apply to me because I didn't come out of the closet, but I think when Robert and Saul are they've come out to their families, they've come out to their friends, but now they're having to acclimate to quote unquote the gay culture and what that means for them and how it feels really sort of out of touch for them. Something about that was so heartfelt and sweet and sad and hopeful because you have these two men who have come so far in coming out, and everything that goes along with that is incredibly heavy to deal with. And then they're there, and their family accepts them, and now they're like, oh, we have a whole culture that we have to acclimate to. And I thought that was just a really beautiful storyline, and I didn't even think that the writers would ever tackle that or dive into that, and they did in such a beautiful way. And for some reason, that really, I don't know, that was a really special little storyline.
Yeah, I love that too. I think overall I really connected to the idea of a family structure changing in one moment. Be it, and I think that's universal for a lot of people, be it through a divorce or loss of a parent or loved one. When things change in a second, you have to kind of restructure who you are in the world. And so that is definitely something I've experienced and I could really connect to as an idea that who you think your parents are is such an integral part of your life and where you fit into that. And when that's shattered, it's a real shock, even when you're an adult child. So that just overall, that basic premise was certainly something I felt like I could really connect to.
And now for our audience, please.
It's an attractive crowd, I just have to say it.
We handpicked everyone just for you.
Thank you.
We did.
Hello.
We try to do it up. Hey, you two. Thanks for being here. Love the show. Great cast overall. Lily Tomlin was here a couple of weeks ago. Straight up legend. What's the biggest lesson you've learned while working with her?
You've worked with her more frequently than I have. Well, go ahead. You take this.
Well, I was going to say that I think she's just, I think she doesn't care if something doesn't work or not, and she's sort of fearless, and I really admire that. In general, the idea of not asking permission, not worrying that it's going to be good, being way more concerned with it being great, which I think also for women is can be a real trap to kind of get it right instead of really, making it amazing. I sense that in myself, that I want to do a good job as opposed to, really making art. And so that's something I see in her, which is she's just so free. And it's pretty amazing to watch.
Next question, please.
I love the show. Thank you for coming. I love the show. I am in the midst of season 2, the orangutan blood meeting. That's where I am right now. Sure. So I'm loving it. And it's such a delight to see you laugh, June, because you deliver these great deadpan, hysterical lines, and you never laugh after. So it's so much fun to see you laughing after these lines today. So as female comedic actresses, having these wonderful icons that you're working with, and them being 64, and coming from that era where female comedians kind of handled comedy differently and had different parameters, and you being the younger set, how are you noticing the differences in how you approach comedy, and are you teaching them as they are teaching you in this experience?
I mean, I wouldn't dare say that I'm teaching anyone, but I think they certainly, paved the way for sure. And, I find that sort of debate about, are women funny or women not funny, like just tedious overall. But I do think, like I look at Lily's career and, there is something about a woman doing comedy and committing to that path, which is, I think, is really brave and really bold. And I think it's certainly, for me coming up, I came up at the UCB Theater in New York, and so I would see Amy Poehler perform and Tina Fey perform, and so I had these people that I looked up to and watched perform all the time, but Lily's one of them too, and I think I'm personally like, wow, I feel that where we are right now in terms of women in comedy and Amy Schumer and Lena Dunham is we're in such a great place. And I'm just excited to see where it goes. In terms of process, I don't know that we approach it very differently at all. I think overall Lily's probably looser with lines and moments, and Jane, I mean, much like their characters, is a little bit more kind of, she comes in and knows everything and knows her moments and knows and plays them so beautifully. That their process is definitely very different.
Very much so. And Lily's always, like something, we were shooting the other day, and we're shooting a scene where Lily's sort of out of sorts and a little bit just out of her element and nervous and scared. And when we're not rolling, prior to rolling, she's over there moving pillows around, and she's like, someone broke into my house, like just in it the whole time. And I don't know that that's a generational thing as much as that's just the way that she approaches her work. And that's, I think, why she's so liberated and free, because she just drops in and she's living that the whole time, which is why I think she has the freedom. Whereas Jane is definitely more like, this is my line, then this is your line. Like just a little bit more structured, which is perfect for their characters. And I don't know that neither is better or more effective, because obviously they're both kicking butt at it. But yeah, and I think we're learning from them. I would love to say that we teach them, but we don't teach them anything.
Yeah. I mean, I've quizzed them a number of times, and they've been very upset, so I will not be doing it again.
And last question, please.
Hey, guys. I was wondering how your relationship with your own moms and siblings are as compared to in the show.
Well, my mom has passed away, but I had a wonderful relationship with my mother and my siblings. We were talking about this backstage. I have two sisters, and so I'm very familiar with like the dynamic of a sister. And I'm someone personally who I have tons of female friends. I'm much more comfortable with women. I'd like all the men to leave, actually. No, I feel very comfortable with women and in general, so that relationship's very easy for me. And, we were talking before about how you can say things to your siblings you'd never dare say to your friends because, they can't go anywhere. So it's a totally familiar relationship to me.
I don't have sisters. I just have a brother. And my mom and Mallory feels very different in her relationship with her family to mine with my family, because it's my brother and I, and we just beat the crap out of each other growing up, and that's kind of how we were raised, and that was it, and that's love, My mom and I are very close and very open, whereas I think Mallory with Grace adores her mother and respects her, but I think she's also very reserved and never wants to disappoint. And I've never really felt that with my mom. And what I love about playing a sister to June is that for Mallory to be so sort of uptight and buttoned up and wanting to be in control of her life, she's almost like a little puppy dog to you. Like there are scenes where she's like, or, what do you think, Brianna? Or Brianna will like hit her and she's like, why are you doing that? Like there's something very sort of puppy dog about Mallory, and it's like her sister's the only person that can bring that out in her. And so again, I don't have sisters, but there's something really fun about playing that with June.
And I do think there's something about the way you behave with your family members is not like the way you won't take that personality out to the general public.
You regress.
You
should
should not.
Your family.
Yeah,
I
do, but I should not.
It doesn't work well for me.
Yeah,
because you will likely be arrested.
Yeah, right. It won't be good.
I've been close to that, No, but I think you regress when you're with your family.
For sure. Yeah, I become a 12-year-old.
Exactly. And I think you see a lot of that between the two of them, which is really silly and fun, and also I think kind of real.
Yeah, and in season 3, not to spoiler alert, but we get to see even more of the history of this relationship and where it, has come from, and like how the two of them their lives are intersecting now, and so that's been really fun to shoot.
And Grace and Frankie is streaming now on Netflix. Season 2 is out now, so thank you, ladies, for being here.